Have you ever noticed that your coffee machine has a little second timer that runs when you're brewing a cup of coffee? Maybe you've noticed that some days your coffee is finished in 15, maybe even 10 seconds, whereas other days it could be 30, 35, 40 seconds. Do you know why this might be and what the impact is on the flavor of your coffee? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. We're going to be covering everything to do with extraction time. We're going to be talking about why it's important, how to measure it and control it, and then how to stay on top of it in order to get consistency between all of your coffees. So extraction time is the term that we use in the coffee industry to talk about how long it is taking to brew your shot of espresso in your coffee machine. It's one of the measurements that professional baristas will use to make sure they're getting consistent results in the recipe of the coffee that they're using. So if they're brewing a coffee that they know tastes great in 28 seconds, but their last shot came out in 23 seconds, they'll use that as a piece of information and feedback that something needs to be changed. So it might sound like I'm suggesting that 28 seconds is the perfect extraction time that you should be aiming for on your machine. It's a lovely idea, but unfortunately, there's no such thing as one perfect extraction time. You can get really delicious coffees at very different extraction times. Anywhere between 15 and 30 seconds can all easily be quite delicious. Rather than using your extraction time as a sign of good or bad coffee, you instead want to use it as a measurement of consistency. So let's say with the coffee that I'm using and the recipe that I've dialed in and the machine that I'm using, I know that a great tasting shot of espresso can be found at 28 seconds. So what I want to do first thing in the morning is get as close as I can to 28 seconds using my grind size on my grinder as the mechanism to make the change there. Once I've dialed in my coffee and got to that 28 seconds, I then want to use that as a guide throughout the day and keep an eye on that extraction time. And any time that you notice that the machine is wildly out of that range, let's say I'm at 20 seconds, I know that the coffee just isn't going to be tasting the same and I need to make an adjustment to get back to that extraction time. In a commercial environment where your barista isn't able to taste every single shot that they're serving out, extraction time is the perfect method for making sure you're getting consistency and the same flavor in every single shot. All machines are different in how they brew, and every coffee is different in its ideal extraction time and what that's going to taste like. So you want to either dial in the coffee yourself and make sure it's tasting great, or use the recipe that your roaster has provided and then use grind size to make sure you're staying in that extraction time. Now, one thing that we do need to talk about and address is why extraction time keeps changing. So even if you're well aware that extraction time is really important and you've dialed into your target recipe first thing in the morning, you're going to notice that your extraction time is going to wobble around and change during the day. Coffee is an organic product, and it means every single day the coffee is going to behave differently inside the grinder and inside the machine. It can be affected by really small things like the temperature inside your cafe, the humidity in the air. Coffee is a fresh product as well, so it's going to degas over time. One morning it could be grinding in a way that gives you that perfect extraction time, and without even changing your grind size, the next day it could be way off the mark. So this is why you always need to be conscious of your extraction time and make sure you're doing everything you can to adjust your grinder to stay in that target zone. A great recommendation that roasters like us will often say is to aim for somewhere between a 25 or 30 second shot. That will give you a really nice, well-balanced traditional espresso, a great extraction, and a delicious coffee, while still giving you a little bit of wiggle room so you don't have to adjust every single time. Along with changes in the coffee and in your cafe, there are also more technique-related things as well. So if you have two baristas that have a slightly different approach to tamping, that can also affect the extraction time of your coffee. If one barista tamps at a slight angle or with a lighter pressure, that could lead to a faster extraction time, even without changing the grind size. That's going to lead to a under-extracted, sour, weak espresso. Those things can be fixed by getting pressure calibrated tampers or even electric tampers like the puck press. These small changes in extraction time are completely normal, and it's all part of the process in learning to become a well-trained barista. So let's talk about how to get in control of your extraction time and then what changes you need to make to get things back into that target range. So the first step to consistency is technique. If your tamping, dosing, and distribution aren't consistent, then your extraction times won't be either. And you won't know whether you can trust the numbers that you're seeing on the machine and whether it's down to a small change in grind size over the day or just an inconsistent technique. So we want to get into the habit of using the exact same dose and recipe for your coffee every single time. So with the amount of ground coffee, we want to make sure that we're using a scale or a grinder that produces the exact same volume every single time. We want to make sure that we're getting the same amount of liquid in the cup as well, either by relying on the shot programs on your machine or by using a scale underneath your cup. And then we want to make sure that we're having a consistent and repeatable tamping technique that you know how to use and all of your baristas can copy day in and day out. Only when we have a repeatable and consistent technique can we then use extraction time as a guide for taste. So make sure that you are putting the same amount of coffee into your portafilter every single time. You're then tapping the grounds to level out the bed and using a tamper that either takes care of the process for you or you're teaching your baristas to tamp with a nice even level and a good solid amount of pressure. Then we're going to flush the shower screen, place our portafilter in there and use the same shot button every single time. And then we're going to make a note of the extraction time once the shot is finished. If the shot is coming out too quickly, we then know that we need to adjust our grinder a little bit finer and increase that surface area. If it's coming out too slow and you need to take a few seconds off your extraction time, we then need to dial the grinder a little bit coarser and let the water flow through a little bit quicker. So that was just a quick lesson on extraction time. I'll leave a few more links down in the description about recipes and grind sizes to help you get control of the flavor of your coffee. If you need any help with serving great coffee, either through a little bit of barista training, an upgrade to your equipment, or maybe to chat about your coffee brand in general, then don't hesitate to get in touch with us here at Bridge Coffee Roasters. Like and subscribe if this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.